Peter Pan. Mr. and Mrs. Darling lived in London with their 3 children, Wendy, John, and Michael. Every night, Mrs. Darling read out interesting bedtime stories to the little children. One night, when the children slept after listening to a wonderful story, Mrs. Darling saw a small boy sitting at their window. It was Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up. When he saw that Mrs. Darling had seen him, he tried to flee, and his shadow fell off. The next night, Peter Pan went back to the Darlings' home to get back his shadow. There, he met Wendy, who helped him recover his shadow. Peter enticed Wendy and her brothers to fly away with him to a magical world called Neverland. He told such exquisite stories about Neverland that the 3 children wanted to go there right away. Neverland was very far, and they could only reach there by flying. Peter called his pixie friend Tinker Bell, who sprinkled fairy dust on the children so that they could fly. They were very happy to reach Neverland. One day, Peter and the children went exploring near the Mermaid's Lagoon. Suddenly, they found themselves surrounded by pirates. Peter saw that Captain Hook, the leader of the pirates, had tied up Tiger Lily, the princess. Peter fought with the pirates and saved Tiger Lily. Captain Hook managed to escape from there. He was an old enemy of Peter Pan. He had lost one of his arms during an old battle with Peter Pan. Peter had fed his arm to a crocodile, you see. From that day, Captain Hook wanted to take revenge from Peter Pan. As time passed, Wendy and the boys started missing their parents. They loved Neverland, but they loved their home more. So they decided to fly home the next morning. Early morning, Tinker Bell and the children left Peter's house. But they didn't know that Captain Hook's pirates were hiding nearby. They captured all the children and took them to their ship. Tinker Bell somehow escaped and hurried back to tell Peter what had happened. An angry Peter flew off to fight Captain Hook and save the children. There was a big fight between Peter and Captain Hook. At last, Peter pushed Hook into the sea, where he was immediately eaten up by a crocodile. Peter and Tinker Bell set off with Wendy and her brothers to take them back to their parents in London. Mr. and Mrs. Darling asked Peter to stay with them, but he said, "I'm going to stay in Neverland, where I never have to grow up." Peter Pan and Tinker Bell waved goodbye to all of them and flew home to Neverland. The end.